Hello, everyone. I'm really, really pleased to be on with you guys tonight. And yes, I'm wearing Snoopy tonight. So yes, Mr. Dot is in the house. Welcome, everyone. I love you too, Diana. So we have 132 people in the chat room, 195. Okay, that's an uptick. 228. Okay, another increase. Woohoo, we like increases. Oh, thank you, 5D by Ruben, Landon, Dante. So, I'm going to give it one more minute, maybe 2 more minutes, and then we'll get into the subject. And tonight we're going to be discussing your guides, why you don't hear from them, why there are crickets in the field, silence, absence. So we have 340 people right now. That's pretty good. Just give it 30 more seconds and then we'll begin. So I'm really pleased to be connecting with all you starseeds, wayshowers, galactic shamans, grid workers, gatekeepers, guardians of the galaxy, mystics, mediums, psychics, clairvoyants. I'm really pleased to be on here with you tonight. So, all right, we're going to begin. I do a lot of readings, and a lot of people tell me I don't hear from my guides. I feel like they've left me, like they've abandoned me. And I used to hear them, and now I don't, or I've never heard them, and I want to hear them. And I get this question all the time. All the time. Now, the first thing I'd like to say or give you an explanation of is what are guides? And I found like a general way to demonstrate it so that you can understand what they are. And of course, they are your technical support. They are here to assist you. But how I view it, like tonight, for instance, I didn't know what to talk about. I just knew I wanted to come on live. So I knocked at their door and I said, guides, what's going on in the collective right now? Show me. So by asking that question, so there's a strong asking, I'm asking what's going on in the collective, what's the theme right now? It's almost like the guides are like a wave in the ocean. So the ocean is the soup of God, if you will. The guides are aspects of God. No different than you being an aspect of God. They're not higher, they're not high and lofty, they're not to be put on a pedestal, they are here to be your associates. So how I view it is like it's a wave, an aspect of God that rolls to the shores of the consciousness of the collective based on that asking. So you have a specific question that carries a vibrational tone, and then the harmony is going to come, which is no different, right? A harmony has to blend with the vocal that you lay in studio. It's a harmony. It has to blend. But if you don't know what's going on in your life or within the collective, you can ask a specific question, and then that wave is going to roll to the shores of the collective consciousness. But it's important to implement specificity, because when you're not specific in life, a lot of people call me and they're like, what should I do with my life? The guides will always say, you get to decide. You're the captain of your reality ship. They're not going to decide for you. Now, was it decided for you and by you before you came into this realm? Most likely. You probably had a divine blueprint that you wanted to align with. But the guides don't want to spoil the surprise. It's like when you go to the movies. If a friend tells you, if there's a spoiler alert, like, this is what happens at the end of the movie, they spoil the surprise for you. So if I say to you, this is your purpose, you need to do this, A, B, and C, you're not going to understand why you're doing A, B, and C. You're just going to go through the motions. So the guides, you have been assigned with a free will. And at the end of the day, you are responsible for the life that you create as a singular being, which is an aspect of source that gets to craft your own reality. It's your choice. So when people have very broad questions, the guides don't get specific. But when people start to tell me about their situation, there's like a third language, right? There's like a third layer of information that I'm hearing and seeing while they're talking, and then we can adjust their field. We can provide them with the information that they need, that they can then utilize or not utilize, that they can scoop up or not scoop up. So the guides are always responsive to your questions. Always. They're also there when you're feeling out of sync with your higher self to give you that adjustment that you need, which is usually done via your emotions, because emotions are energy in motion, and those energies reroute you. It's like a GPS. Ooh, you're going the wrong way. Let's reroute you. Make a U-turn. So what I want to begin with is that your guides are always there with you. They're always there with you. You have at least 2-3 guides that are specifically assigned to your mission. You're everything to them. And if they keep you on track and you don't go off course, it's a victory for everyone. It's a victory for the planet, for the universe, for all galaxies. Because what you do reverberates through eternity. So your guides are never not there. They would never abandon you. So if ever you question whether your guides are there or not, just remind yourself, they are speaking to me via my emotions. So when I'm not feeling a good vibe around someone, my guides are probably saying, move away from this frequency, step away from that. It's not a match. They could also be saying, because again, it goes back down to your free will, they can also be saying, don't leave, and identify what's going on within you, within the situation, and address that while you're here. So they're never going to impose what they think is best for you. Only you can decide that. Only you can decide that. And thank you for the donation. I see you. I see you, Van Thomas. Thank you very much. So think of your body as a car. Let's just imagine for a minute that it's a Bentley. And it takes a lot of cooperative components to get the engine running, right? You need the driver, you need the engine, you need the gas, you need all these things. Your body is very much like a physical container. But it's not just one person in there, it's not just you. There were so many things that had to happen and pull together for you to become embodied in this physical plane of existence. So you came here with an assignment. Jesus wasn't just Jesus. The collective was ready for an upgrade. The collective was ready for a radical shift. So how I view it is Jesus was a being, yes, from one perspective, but Jesus was also a vehicle for a collective asking that was prompted, and then he was the response to that. There were councils involved. There were people and their future selves that wanted to experience their awakening. There was a strong asking. So you could say that this YouTube video right now, because I didn't know what I was going to talk about, so 2 minutes before popping on, I asked my guys, what's going on in the collective? What should I discuss tonight? You could say that I was that wave that rolled forward to bring through this message. So as above, so below, it's all the same thing. A frequency is like a magnet, and that frequency magnetizes the experience that you need, or the answer that you have, that you're looking for as it relates to your question. So there's a strong asking, and then that draws to self an experience. It draws to self a sign, a synchronicity, an angelic number, you name it. The guides are the same way, but they are also higher aspects of you. Sometimes you have a blind spot. You're like a horse with blinders and you don't know what you're looking for, but you want the answer. Well, in your asking, you kind of open up a portal, or you carry a specific tone. That's why specific questions are really important in life. They have to be purposeful. When you have a specific question and you're carrying a specific vibrational tone, the harmony is going to come to lay on top of your vocal, or that wave is going to roll forth to your consciousness as the answer. But sometimes it's not the answer. Sometimes it's just a test, or sometimes it's just an initiation phase. You know, like I was doing a reading with someone today that was like, I keep getting signs around Italy and moving there. And then I went to my kitchen and I saw a label that said made in Italy. Does that mean I should move there? No, it doesn't mean you should move there. It means that's a potential timeline. And your purpose may not be to move there. It may just be that your guides are establishing a rapport with you or cultivating a deeper friendship with you to get you to tune in. It has nothing to do with Italy per se. It may just be that you're going through a training with your guides to better understand their communication. Now, again, it's all going to be based on your perception. If your perception is that you should move to Italy because you keep seeing that sign, then that will be your perception. No different than if your perception is that if you bump into an ex of yours, you guys are meant to get back together, that will just be based on a perception and a belief that you hold. But it doesn't mean that that's what you're meant to do, because you get to decide. You're the captain of your ship. So another example is like, I was seeing it as like a traffic controller. So I'm choosing in that moment to ask the guys what's going on in the collective. So the collective is here, all right? My question is here, or the wave is here. And I'm going, by asking the question, I'm saying, wave, go over here, go over here. I'm like a traffic controller. And then the wave goes and gives me specific intel in relation to what's going on within the collective. But you can ask questions about yourself, about your own purpose, about what you should do next, about what you shouldn't do. So your guides are never not with you. In the beginning, though, they communicate with you through your emotionality because you still hold programming within your body. So what happens when you hold programming within your body? You're very empathic. You're very sensitive to people's energies. You might be tiptoeing around them, walking on eggshells. You're afraid not to step on people's toes. That's all programming. As you release that programming, you're not dealing with density anymore, right? Emotions are denser. When you transcend emotions by feeling them, by integrating them, you start to move on that higher level of that spirit cake. I have an Instagram page called Spirit Cake, but you start to move beyond that level. So your communication isn't so emotional anymore. You're not crying. It's not sad. It's not depression. It's telepathic. It's also clairvoyant. So when I ask the guides what's going on in the collective, I can see the wave of information. It's like a thought packet that I'm receiving. I can also hear the messages. Because think of it, right? When you see a wave in the ocean, you can see it, but you can also hear it. So there are two things going on. You're receiving information telepathically, but you're also getting visions that relate to that download. So thank you, Kelly West. I appreciate you. So it's like being a traffic controller. And you get to direct the traffic. You get to direct the ocean. Now remember, the ocean is representative of the soup of God. It's God's body of water. Everything is unified. Everything is unified as a one, okay? But when you have a question, that question carries a certain frequency or a vibrational tone. So what happens? Law of attraction sets into play. And the question, which holds a certain frequency, is going to draw to that question a match. So it's a like frequency that you're drawing based on that question. Does that make sense to you guys? So, and again, there are many presentations revolving guides. This is just, I thought, a very general teaching and one that people can relate to. Okay, it's digestible. It makes sense. Your guides are always, always effectively working with you. They never leave you, even though it feels that way. So I'm getting a download now. Why and when would things go silent? When would you start to hear crickets in the field? It would be two reasons as to why that would happen. One, that you've already achieved the vibration of what you're about to spit out into your reality, and you're in a holding pattern. So it's a waiting game. You're just waiting for that creation to be brought into materiality. Okay, you're just waiting for that creation to be brought forward into materiality. Because step one is you have to work with frequency, with energy. Step two, that energy starts to go through the God factory and eventually gets manufactured into your reality physically. But in between step one and step two, there's processing time. There's processing time. It's like when you file documents or when you apply for a passport or a green card or whatever, there's a processing time, there's a delay. Now, why would there be a delay? Why would there be a delay? Because a lot of us struggle with impatience. A lot of us want to control everything. So there's a method to the madness of the universe. It knows that you're going to start to get fidgety. Like, stomping your feet. What's going on? Banging your fists. What's going on? And so it's going to utilize that time to expand you as a being, to evolve you as a being. So, wow, we have 769 people in the house, y'all. That's awesome. So, the first reason as to why you wouldn't be able to hear your guides or detect their presence is because you've already achieved what you needed to achieve non-physically. And now you're in a holding pattern awaiting the arrival of what you desire. Now, does that prevent you from creating another potential? No. You should always be creating new and new and new and new potentials. This way, you have more surprises every day. It's like Christmas every day. Not always physically, but non-physically, you already know what's coming. You know, you're confident in what you've done, in what you've created, in what you've architected. So you're waiting for something. But as you're waiting now, you're getting impatient and you start to get too affixed to that thing that you designed non-physically. That would make sense. Your hands are tied. You can't go anywhere because you need to be home to receive that package. So your universe is going to test you. Your universe, your higher self is going to work in collaboration with you to get you to clear some of your limiting beliefs that it won't happen, to clear some of your limiting beliefs that you won't find love, or that this purpose of yours is never going to be brought to fruition. Yeah. So from that perspective, it's logical that it hasn't materialized because spiritually it's already happened, but you're still waiting for it physically. But all of your limiting beliefs start to surface. It's kind of like if I shoved you in a cage. Terrible example. But if I threw you in a cage and then I decided that you weren't going to eat, you would start to panic. That's because your reality is out of your control. So all of those deeper imprints, that trauma would start to bubble up and rise to the surface. But if you were a master and you could see that I'm just playing a joke on you, then you wouldn't panic because you would be able to see into the future timeline that in 10 minutes, I'm going to open the cage again because you're in control. You have authority over your emotions. And again, this is a horrible example, but when your back is against the wall, when you're shoved into a corner, that's when your true colors show. It's not really your true colors. It's just the belief systems that you've adopted, that you've accepted, that are confining you spiritually. So why is the universe putting a delay on this package? Because it knows that you have deeper business to tend to, that you have to go into the crevices of your energy field to clear those out, to pull them up and out, to yank them out. Okay, but what you want and what you desire has already been attained. It's just that you can't see it yet. So then you're encouraged to just enjoy your life. Enjoy your life, get creative, create your next new potential, and then create another one after that because it's all happening. You're just getting your ducks in a row. And then it's like it's not a movie that's being spoiled. You're in the movie or you're watching a movie and you're enjoying every scene. You're enjoying the lows, you're enjoying the highs, you're enjoying when the girl breaks up with the guy, and then you really enjoy when he shows up on the plane, so cliche, and asks her to propose to marry him. So you enjoy all of it. Now, what would the second reason be as to why you're not hearing from your guides? This is the most important one. Because they've already shared with you what you need to know. They've already given you the instructions that you need to proceed. So the guides will always give you instructions. They will always inform you. But then it's up to us, the humans, to do the application. It's up to us to take action, right? Why is it up to us to take action? Because the guides can't do anything from up there. How did we build this world? Did the guides build it? From one perspective, maybe, but us humans built these buildings. We received we received ideas and concepts and inspiration, and we put them in place. We took action. So the apartment you're living in was built by man. It was channeled spiritually, though. But spirit can't physically build things. Humans have to build things. So we receive information. Sometimes it gets filtered through our ego, and then we create control structures like monetary systems, religious structures or establishments, societal norms that are very limiting and confining because we're filtering that information that is actually pure through our ego. And now we're building something based on fear, based on a survival mechanism. So in other words, we are the anchoring units. We are the ones who are the ground crew. We are the ones who file that energy down and now apply it in order to build new realities. So everything that you see in the world, we are responsible for it. Why do you think that the aliens haven't interfered? Because we did this. We had a free will. No one did it for us. We did it. We agreed to it based on the level of consciousness that we were operating at the time. At the time. So in the 1800s, people were probably afraid. They were like, oh my God, yes, I'll invest my money with you. Yeah, I'm really scared. Yes, thank you for being my light and savior. So you invest your money with someone else who's just like you, right? Thinking that that's the way because you're afraid. Sorry, 1 second. And then you now your money is in someone else's pocket. Now I'm not saying there's anything wrong with investing. I'm just saying that you can't blame the system for what it is. None of us can, because we're all responsible for it as a collective. And who can clean up the mess? Us. How do we clean it up? We clear our vessels, we purify our being, we receive that inspired idea, and we start to come up with new innovations, with new inventions, and we build new worlds. Oh, thank you, Marsha. I appreciate you so much. So, thank you. I see you. That was very generous. And I love that they're nines. Thank you. So, sending you a wave of light, by the way. Thank you. So, the reason why your guides aren't getting in touch with you anymore isn't that they're absent or that they've abandoned you. It's that they've already given you the information that you need in order to make your stride, in order to get to the next level of your evolution, in order to reach a new milestone in your physical life. So I'll give you a very relatable example. You're at a job that you hate. You hate this job. Your emotions are how your guides communicate with you. What does the hate what does the hate denote? It's letting you know that this job is incompatible with your vibrational field. So my question to you is, why are you still there? But now you're not hearing from your guides. Your guides have said to you, this isn't a match to you. And the example I got today was really funny. The example I got today was, if you and I are hanging out, right, and you're at the house and you're like, let's go out. I'm like, yo, we can't hang out until you put clothes on. We can't leave the house until you put clothes on. So get your clothes on. And you're like, okay, and then we can go out. But if you don't put clothes on, we're not going out. So, and I love that metaphor. So the key is to really listen to the internal guidance that's coming through, that's coming in, and not negate it. You don't want to disregard this amazing information that's coming in. And remember, when you still carry dense material in your body, if you didn't carry dense material within your body, you wouldn't be at that job to begin with. So you're still carrying dense material within your body. When you carry dense material within your body, your channels, that psychic antenna, isn't able to efficiently tune into things without absorbing the emotion or without absorbing the energy. It's like when you're afraid of what people think of you, you soak in their energy like a sponge because you still are lacking confidence or you're still not self-assured as a person. So what's going to happen is you're going to absorb all of those energies because you're not stepping in the shoes of your own empowerment yet. When you're empowered, you don't take on people's energies anymore because you know who you are, but you can still see things. You can read their aura. You can receive messages from their guides, from your guides. It becomes clairaudient and clairvoyant. In the beginning, it's very much clairsentient, which means that you are empathically attuned. You are able to receive what people are feeling, but then you take it on and internalize it, which then dampens your own vibration. It lowers your frequency. When you're a sovereign being, you love yourself too much to lower your frequency. You're like, I'm not going to compromise myself for someone else. That's just how it works. So then your multidimensional communication system upgrades. And what does that mean? Now you can see things clairvoyantly and you can hear things clairaudiently. It doesn't affect your emotional structure because your emotional structure has already been integrated. And you can call upon the Pleiadians in order to do this. You can call upon the Pleiadians to integrate your emotional body. What does integration mean? For those of you who are new to my channel, and welcome, by the way. Integration means that you are willing to sit with your emotions rather than run away from them. You are willing to sit with those emotions rather than try to avoid or escape them. So there's a vast difference between feeling fear and acting upon it, and feeling fear and deciding that you're not going to act on it. You're going to feel it for as long as you need to until it passes. And once it passes, you'll realize it wasn't real to begin with. It was just a almost like a demonic strategy plotting against you to send you in a tailspin of fear so that you could take the bait. So that fear wasn't really demonic. It was just an aspect of yourself that was rooted in fear, and you still believed that bad things would happen to you, or you still believed that you wouldn't find a job, or that you wouldn't realize your dreams, or that you wouldn't actualize your potential. So there's a vast difference between feeling your fear and sitting with it for as long as you need to, or sitting with the heartbreak without picking up your phone and saying, okay, I accept that this has happened. This person probably doesn't love me, right? Oftentimes when we're in a relationship with someone and we part ways, we say, oh, they were just afraid. Sometimes that's just an excuse. The truth is, you have to trust that their higher self is wanting to take them on a different journey. And it's not personal to you, it's vibrational. Their higher self thought that you guys were not the right fit. And sometimes we say things like they left because they were afraid, just to soothe ourselves, when that's still, I don't know, that's still iffy. It's still a form of an excuse. The proof is in the pudding. They left because there's a resonance that's lacking. And it's not personal towards you. It's just that maybe there's a higher calling. Maybe it has to do with the career that they're supposed to go and pursue. Maybe it has to do with the love of their life that they're actually meant to end up with. The whole thing about, oh, this person's afraid is still a projection. It could be true, by the way. It could be true that what you're saying is accurate. It could be true that they left because they were afraid. But at the end of the day, they left because there was a stronger pull to leave than to stay. There was a stronger pull to leave than to stay. What is that pull? Well, if you see the universe as benevolent, meaning they are angelic forces always working in everyone's benefit for the highest good of all, then that person just left you because there was a resonation that was lacking within the dynamic. And how beautiful is that? How beautiful is it that they were able to honor that? Most of us are still lack-based, so we focus on the negative. They left me. Oh, it's about me. It's not about you. It's about a divine blueprint that they designed before coming into this reality to eventually line up with so that they can serve their higher purpose on this planet. That's love. To me, unconditional love is the ability to tell someone, I understand that you're leaving and I'm going to hold you in good thought and I love you regardless. And I honor you for honoring your own power. I honor you for honoring your own empowerment. That's unconditional love. Unconditional love doesn't attach expectation and how could you and woe is me. That's conditional. That's not unconditionality. We want to move into unconditionality. All right? So, what was I saying? I was saying that, I know I sidebarred. I'm the king of sidebar. So now I was talking about your emotions, your energy and motion. Your guides have already supplied you with the intel that you need to now move yourself into this next highest stratosphere. So I'm not hearing from my guides, what's going on? Did they leave me? No, they didn't leave you. They told you what you need to do. Why haven't you done it? It's that simple. Yeah? If you and I, okay, we do a session and I say, this is what you need. This is your homework this week. This is what you need to address. This is what you need to attend to. And then you come back the next week and you're like, okay, now I want to know what's next. No, did you do your homework? Did you resolve or solve that puzzle? If you say no, well, I have nothing to say to you. You need to get to that thing that we talked about. And once you clear that, we can move into the next level. If you and I are playing a video game and you're like, you still need a lot of practice because you're new to it, I'll be like, yo, I'm not really enjoying myself right now. So why don't you play against the computer for a while? And when you're ready, let's play. So it's not that cut and dry, you guys. Okay, I just want to be clear. It's not that cut and dry, but your guides never leave you. They've told you you're not happy at your job. Why are you still ignoring that emotion? What are you doing about it? This is about taking a leap of faith. Now, how our angels and guides are really cool and how they give us so many options. I just have to say this, the universe is so generous, you guys. The universe never forces your hand to do anything you don't want to do. It is not saying leave your job if you're miserable. It is not saying leave this relationship if this person isn't committing to you. It's saying, hey, we've offered you information. Now, what are you going to do about it energetically? What are you going to do about it energetically? So you want to stay at the job, but you need to start integrating that lesson or integrating that emotion. Maybe you need to go in with a smile on your face and extend gratitude for the person who's putting money in your pocket as you are in the midst of discovering what it is that you want to do, as you're in the process of uncovering what your truth is. So it's a reframing of your consciousness. It's a reframing of how you perceive reality. And as you do this, you are filling in the blanks. You're filling in the blanks. You're starting to see the larger picture of what's happening in order to bring resolution vibrationally. It's not physical. Sometimes it is, but it's a vibrational resolution of what's going on within you. So your guides are like, okay, you have a choice. You can leave and start, summoning your courage, mustering up your courage, and going for your dreams. And then when the fear comes up, deal with it, clear it. Or you can stay, but start shifting your mentality, because your reality cannot shift unless you shift your mentality. Woo! Your reality cannot shift if you do not shift your mentality. We are in a chess game, but it's an energetic game. It's energetic. The basis of it, the basis of this reality is energetic. The physical follows. You were a light being, you became a human after. You thought of something genius, and then it came to life. Now, from a quantum viewpoint, it's all happening at the same time. I'm already dead from one viewpoint. I wasn't born and then died. They happened at the same time. And I decided to string it out like spaghetti to have an experience. But we're all already dead from the quantum viewpoint. So what are you going to do about it? How do you want to be remembered? I work with that all the time. I don't have to wait to die to get a life review, right? You know how they say that when you die, when you cross over, you have a life review. It's like a report card. How did you do? Now you have to go back and carry that lesson into the next one. I don't need that. My life review is with me all day long. I can see my funeral every day. What footprint am I going to leave on this planet? You get to decide. Do you want to die at a job where you're miserable, where you have your tail between your legs the rest of your life, and then you retire, and then you're like, oh, I shoulda, woulda, coulda? No, we don't live in remorse here. We are light workers. We look at the dark. The dark isn't your enemy. Okay? I said that this week on my Instagram. I said this week. I said both the light and the dark bring forth teachings for those who have eyes to see. And until you're willing to look, until you're willing to take a peek, you're going to perpetuate the cycle of discontentment, of unhappiness, of disharmony. So both the light and the dark bring forward teachings for those who have eyes to see. You're unhappy. Wow, my guides are communicating with me. You see how that's just a subtle shift in your perspective or in your perception? Wow, my guides are always with me. They're always telling me how I feel. And through that emotion, I can then take the necessary action to break that pattern, to get out of the maze. But no one's going to do it for you. Why? Because we humans build these worlds. If you ask your guides, what should I do next? They're going to say, what do you want to do next? You have the tiller. You have your hand on the tiller of your boat. Where do you want to steer your ship? It's up to you. But you can also take the approach of guides, show me. And they'll show you. But you know how they're going to show you? If you start to obsess less about your physical world and you start to tune into what they tell you throughout the day, then they're going to guide you to your destination. They're going to guide you to your purpose. So from one perspective, you're the one that gets to choose what you're going to do and what you're going to offer, what frequency you're going to lend to the collective of the human race. From another perspective, they will show it to you because it's been predestined in many ways. Your highest timeline has already been predestined. But how do you line up with that? You have to listen. You have to tune in. So just like that girl I was mentioning earlier about the Italy, she can cash in her chips and say, I'm supposed to go to Italy. Or she can think spiritually, right, in a spiritual sense and say, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to go to Italy. Maybe I'm not supposed to cash in my chips just yet. Maybe my guides are just developing a communication with me. They're developing a rapport with me. It has nothing to do with Italy. Oh, I bumped into my ex. Maybe it has nothing to do with my ex. Maybe my guides are affirming me that I'm on the right course and that we don't look back. We keep treading forward. It's how you choose to see your game. For me, I don't cash out ever. I will not leave my house until what I want shows up at my doorstep. That's just how I'm designed. That's how I'm designed. I'm not going to leave my house. If my universe needs me, it'll let me know. It will alert me. It will show up. So all of these emotions that you feel, confusion, uncertainty, doubt, Fear. What do you think that is? That's your guidance system. That's your team, your angelic team, telling you what you're still hanging on to that you need to let go of. They're always communicating with you. Oh, I'm in a toxic relationship. It hurts. Okay, why are you there? Leave. That's what your guides are telling you. Or they're saying stay and deal with what you're feeling and empower yourself within that dynamic. But eventually, when you start to move into the higher layers of consciousness, you won't stay there. From the get-go, out the gate, you'll be like, I'm out. Nope, not interested. Because your value, your standards are so high that you don't cower. You don't accept less. You don't go back into lack because you've been there and done that. You've been around the block 1,000 times and you've paid your dues. I helped a friend move the other day. And he was like, oh, I thought you'd get like frustrated midday. I thought you would have gotten upset by 3 p.m. I'm like, dude, how do you think I got to where I am? Being of service to people is easy for me. I drove an 85-year-old man for 7 years, for 6-7 hours. I have no problem being patient. He's like, but the thing is, I told him, I'm like, I know that sometimes I come across like a diva or like a devo, but I'm not a diva. I've just paid my dues. That's it. I can be of service to you all day long. That's easy for me. I did it for years. That's easy. So I was like, don't underestimate me, man. I'm of service to humanity, and it's not by coincidence. It's because I had to do the jobs that I didn't want to do and spend countless hours doing these things and finding joy in them, being of service, listening to people, putting the spotlight on them, making them feel special. It's energetic in nature. I didn't get here by physically chasing something. Oh, go make it happen. I didn't do that like that. I made it happen by tuning into my guidance system and following their instructions. And they weren't always easy. They made me do things. They didn't really make me do anything. They encouraged me to do things in order to line up to my divine blueprint. So again, the density held within your body is what's causing you to feel so many emotions, so much upset, so much sorrow, so much agony. That's the density that's being held in your body. What is density? It's that heavy material. It's a heavy material that's been created by you through your choices or through the beliefs that you've accepted as your own that were very divisive, that were very low vibrationally. So you created density by believing them, by buying into them, and by acting on them. Now we have to undo all that. We have to unwire your entire system. So by tuning into your guidance, you're able to undo and purify your system again. You're getting in touch with a higher intelligence that is you, that is also guides. So I hope that helps you guys. I think that about wraps it up. Yeah, but just start seeing your guides as friends or lovers that you have relationships with. If you say to a friend, hey, I'm not open to discussing what happened until you apologize, all right, that's a good parallel to draw with your guides. Your guides are like, hey, we have nothing left to tell you. We told you what we needed from you. Now it's up to you. The ball is in your court. You have to take the action. And when you do that, they send you another stepping stone. Whoop, and it's an upgrade. It's a promotion. I call it a spiritual promotion. But they're not going to show you what's coming after that until you tend to this, because what's coming after that is a higher level. All right. I speak to so many. Oh, thank you, Joelle, for the $99. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. So what was I going to say? Okay. I speak to a lot of people who want to be healers, and they're still living with their parents, and they're still afraid to step out on their own and get their own place. How do you expect to heal someone if you don't go through it, right? Your guides are the same way. What's going to happen when a politician or wants to hire you and you don't even have your own apartment? That's just a metaphor, but I'm telling you that there are levels to this game. Consciousness is like a video game. You cannot get to level 3 unless you complete level 2. You can go to level 3, but you'll get killed really quickly. And they're going to give you the boot. They're going to be like, hey, come back when you're stronger, because you're not ready for this game. You understand? Now, again, this is a linear presentation, but it's very much, I want to say it's very much in symmetry or proportionate to your ascension process. You can't be a healer if you don't know how to heal yourself. You have to go through all of the darkness, all of the light. You have to examine your own situation, pull yourself out of it, cross that bridge. This way you can be of assistance to other people to help them cross the bridge. But if you've only made it to half the bridge, how do you expect to complete the process? You can't. All right, I love you guys so much. And I'm sending you so much love, so many blessings. And I thank you for your donations again. And even though I didn't think I'd have anything to talk about tonight, the guides came through. So I'm sending you infinite blessings, and I'll see you in another version of the Now.